Imagine a school where learning goes beyond the traditional walls of the classroom, nestled in the heart of a jungle. Welcome to the Green School Bali, a school that challenges conventions. This is a story of sustainability, innovation, and the future of education. Today, we'll take a deep dive into what makes education truly sustainable. Without further ado, let's jump into my conversation with Sal Gordon, the Director of Teaching and Learning at the Green School Bali.
So I'm the head of teaching and learning right now, which is sort of like a normal principal, but at a very non-normal school. Green School Bali is an international school in the jungles in Bali, and it's exciting to be here. It's exciting to be a part of something new because I think, I talk about the education revolution a little bit. I even say, you come to Green School Bali, please come over. And when you do, I'll say, welcome to the education revolution. But it's not just happening at Green School, it's happening all around the world. And the one thing we forget, that revolution is happening from within. Our kids, the students are changing. The world in front of them and how they interact with it is changing so fast. And so it doesn't really matter what we do as educators. The education that students are going to get is going to be different and different and different. And I think they're demanding more and more relevance in their learning. So Green School Bali is one place where it's happening.
Your definition for sustainability is a little bit different, and I think that resonates with me because oftentimes when we hear sustainability in schools, it becomes this kind of like depressing thing. I don't know, it's hard to balance teaching the importance, of creating sustainable culture without just bumming the kids out. So how do you manage to do that, to have such a sustainability centered curriculum that is still so joyous?
Yeah. Well, first of all, a lot of people are like, every time you say sustainability, it's like, well, it's not good enough. We've got to be, regeneration is probably the new catchphrase. I think that's just semantics. For us, sustainability, and for me, sustainability is about meeting the needs of now and the future. Really simple, and I don't think we're doing that at the moment. And then when you talk about educating for sustainability, rather than educating about sustainability, because I'm pretty big on that too, because it's quite easy to educate about sustainability issues, cultural issues, environmental issues. But actually, I think that schools are places that should be educating for sustainability, that the learning inside the school can actually have a real impact and a sustainable impact, an impact moving towards sustainable future. For us also, sustainability, again, we're not a camp, we're in the jungle. It's very nature-based, but we don't limit sustainability to just being environmental.
Right.
And so a sustainable, when you think of sustainability as meeting the needs of now and the future, well, you ask yourself, well, what are the needs of now and the future for the students? What are their needs? And they're not all environmental. A lot of those needs are personal, definitely personal. Some of those needs are communal and societal. They're economical. There's a lot of different components to a sustainable future. When you open yourself up to a challenge of talking about and trying to provide opportunities for students to do something that has a sustainable outcome, then you do have to realise that your older students particularly are going to learn all of the doom and gloom. But, by about middle school, they know it anyway. They see it, and hiding it from them is not doing us any favours. Below that and before that, younger than that, again, it's just about activating the awe. You create awe, inspire, open curiosity doorways for students, provide opportunities for them to connect and do something with their learning. That's just automatically sort of optimism rather than pessimism. It could be quite easy.
The empathy building at the start.
I think a big part of pessimism is feeling helpless and feeling like you can't do anything about it. Well, we're sort of doing the opposite. We're saying, well, you can do something about it, and as you get older, you do realise that we're filling the ocean with plastic, and there's sea level rising, and there's deforestation and species extinction, and you go down the list. They're fully aware of that, but you provide an opportunity for them to do something, even just in their own life, in their own community, in their local area. Then that takes away that feeling of helplessness.
That's a very lovely answer. Yeah, taking away the feeling of helplessness by empowering students. Can you speak a little bit to the differences between Green School Bali and other schools?
3 or 4 years into a teaching career, wanting to do something different, trying to be innovative inside of an Australian, quite a rigid Australian education system, and I saw John Hardy's TED Talk about Green School. And that's, you're talking about aha moments. My aha moment of, wow, there is a place that fits me, my aspirations, and what I think where education should be going. But I was also a dad. I wonder how many educators are out there who've got kids and feel like if they were a restaurant owner that they wouldn't let their kids eat at the restaurant. I was a teacher who was passionate about teaching and learning, but I still was thinking about homeschooling my kids. Because I just didn't think that the system that they were going to go into was meaningful enough. You talk about experiential learning, skills and values-based learning is important. I think that was a big part of my gap decade. Communities, global citizenship, global communities, they're all really important. I think the things that define Green School, I think you wrapped them up there, but maybe I talk about them in a slightly different way. I think there's three parts to sort of any school. There's the learning community, and so that's that greater group of people that are part of a school. For us, that community extends. Our parents are on campus and they learn. They have their own little learning neighbourhood space as well. They're connected to the learning program. The learning community expands beyond the campus walls because we're really connected with Bali, Indonesia, not just culturally, but in terms of what we're learning and where we're learning. The community itself is quite unique. You blend that with quite an amazing and unique jungle learning environment. So that's the second thing, the second component. Most schools, unfortunately, half the schools are designed and built by the same people who design and build prisons. Green School Bali isn't. It's beautiful. It's in the jungle. They're wall-less bamboo buildings. It's set by a river, lots of gardens and rice fields. The learning environment includes a lot of animals around. We don't just learn inside the school. We have a lot of experiential outside the school community and service learning. We've got a mangroves project. We do a lot of ocean education programs. We've got mountains. We really access a community. So the school, you don't just send your kids to Green School to learn from a teacher in a classroom. It's much, much bigger. The third thing that every school's got in common, so community environment, is the program. What gets taught, how it gets taught, how is it assessed. I think that's also quite unique at Green School.
How does that, because you're a director of teaching and learning, so
well, yeah,
you've got all these very different elements, and I feel like I see less information about the Green School. It's like, I know the teaching resources are sustainable and whatnot, but like, how is the curriculum itself different, or what's happening in the classroom really different?
Well, first of all, we've moved away from just knowledge. Most education, and particularly traditional education, especially if it's exam driven, is just information.
Fact. Yeah,
it's just information. And, I can tell you anything you like. I'll Google it now. So we've moved away from just information. Important information is really good. And looking back into history and understanding scientific facts and things like that, that's really good. But it's not solely based on that. I think skills-based learning's also really, really important. In fact, as important as knowledge-based. So we've developed our own Green School skills. They're like any other 21st century skill, which they're not really 21st century skills, are they? There's a couple of extra ones like activate and be aware. We think their skills. Adapt is a Green School skill of ours. We like to bend like bamboo. The other part is values-based learning. And so when we're not just limiting ourselves to providing opportunities to learn information, you're embedding skills and values-based into it, automatically the program changes. We're also in Bali. We're in Bali, and again, connecting to the local community. There's such amazing artisans here. And so if you can basically make it, if it's possible to make it, a Balinese person can make it for sure. But again, I think it's just an example. My first year, and back to sort of John Hardy, he came up to me and he said, I didn't even know that he knew who I was, because he didn't interview me. I walked up and said, Sal, you're the new maths teacher. I want you to build a bridge. And then he walked off.
And you were like,
and I was like, yeah, great. Hi, John. Bye. About a week later, about three dudes came into my classroom and said, right, let's start. And I was like, what are you talking about? And they're like, we're going to build that bridge. John said you were going to build a bridge. So in my first year as a maths teacher, I had to integrate building a real bridge over the river, because a lot of schools educate about how to build a bridge or why to build a bridge or let's build a model bridge. We built a real bridge. It was a cable bridge, 4 cables. It was all 4 cables and the rest was bamboo. We made a lot of mistakes. I started off with 60 kids and then it was really hard work. And probably at the end I had 10 students sort of helping me out finishing it. They all thought it was amazing. Yeah, let's build a bridge, the first lesson. And then we had to go outside and cut all this bamboo. You know, we did a lot of measurement. We did a lot of finances. We planned. We did drawings. We looked at forces. Yeah,
and you
it was
legit
such an amazing.
Built it too.
Yeah.
Did you have people helping you with that part, or you was just all on
we
you?
had an engineer who'd never built a bridge before, and some sort of workers. The first time we weight tested it, like we load tested it, it didn't pass, and we realised we'd put the rods in at each end upside down. But we had kids, we had like a whole 60 pulling cables across a river. So tools are important, I suppose, yeah. I think it's the whole model itself suits more neurodiverse students. And it's not just the tools or the options to be active in your learning, but the options to learn around your passions for something. So say we're going to do it.
And for teachers too, like authentically.
But say we're going to do if you decided to change your teaching practice from going from history, geography, math, science, and said, let's do an oceans unit together. Well, that's great, because that's automatically going to provide you an opportunity to connect with students individually. Because with the oceans, like I like sailing. I'm a sailor. I spent years sailing before I was a teacher. So I could do a class with you on the oceans and focus on sailing. You know, you like surfing or scuba diving or just sitting and relaxing on the beach. Everyone can have a connection point. Plus, then the teacher can say, well, I don't really care how you learn something or even how you demonstrate your learning or what you do with your learning, but I want to help you do just
something.
That. Yeah. So you're not just saying, look, learn this and then write this
and then
I'll test you on that. And so already you're sort of activating a whole heap of opportunities for different types of learners. Because I think we're all neurodiverse when if we think about somewhere, you know, I don't think we're all the same. I think that's probably what's beautiful about us and what's kept us alive as a species, that diversity. We also see, you know, a lot of people think we're a camp. They still think we're a camp, although, you know, we've got international accreditation, we've got Indonesian accreditation. A lot of people think we're an experiment still, but, you know, our kids go to uni, our kids get scholarships into uni. Our graduates, they're amazing graduates, they're amazing kids. So we're just like a normal school in terms of teaching academics as well. You know, mathematics and literacy and scientific discovery, experimentation, they're really important. But
is it more through projects though?
Yeah,
like, is that the difference?
Sometimes when you're doing like, you know, pre-calc or, you know, some serious high school maths, you really have to dive into, if you're doing doing AP Calc at Green School, you're probably doing AP Calc at any other school. But before that and around that, there's so many other learning opportunities. We take our academic program really seriously, but we've developed it probably only makes up a third of our program. You know, the other 2/3 are taken up by a really vibrant thematic integrated curriculum where everything's connected and we connect. I mean, that's how we educate for sustainability. You know, when you want to be different and you're trying to be innovative, you've got to allow failure to be part of the success criteria.
Right.
We have the same amount of challenges and probably sometimes more than the normal schools, and we don't always get it right. Just in case we ran out of time, I just didn't want people to think that there was like unicorns running around the jungle of Bali. It's not a perfect, it's not a perfect school. I don't think there probably is a perfect school, and we're not even really trying to be perfect. We're just trying to be real or trying to be different, trying to be meaningful, try to be connected to the needs of now and the future.